I removed the intake on a friend of mine's 2018 Volkswagen Jetta 1.4 turbo last weekend, and we took it out and actually put it on the ground, and there's quite a bit of work. So this is mine, and I'd like to do a little video for somebody, I don't know who. So basically, air cleaner, that stuff. I've already taken the throttle body off. This little piece is made out of plastic, and I felt like I could have broke it, but I think it's radiator. So what I did, took the throttle body off. This piece right here, there's grooves there and there's grooves on the other side, and if you take a pair of pliers and push those in, that piece will pop right out. This piece I had a time with goes right there, and what it does is that little tab that you see right there, all you do is push it in. You push it in, it released. So 2 connectors here. I think that went to the airbox. Did not disconnect the fuel line. These 2 things. All right, so on this side, I got that thing popped out of right there. I unplugged that piece that goes to the green thing, and that's just a push clip. Push, I don't know what it's called. You push on that right there, and it pulled right out. Then I disconnected this piece. That was the one I just showed you, the cheap plastic piece. I disconnected this line, which just gave me room to pull the manifold, intake manifold back. And I unscrewed that, which screws in right there, and that's the silver colored screw. I think it's a little bit longer. And I took that off, again, just to pull the manifold back. So then I took my screws out and I pulled the intake forward, and I popped off this line. Right here is that thing right there. So there's one on this side, the driver's side, there's one on the passenger side. I just took it and popped it off with this tool right here, snap-on tool, the only snap-on I own. And that was about it. So you can see the valves were pretty dirty, but I got them cleaned out, and I'll show you what I did, what I used. So whenever I first took it apart, 1, 3, and 4, the valves were closed. So I just sprayed my brake cleaner in there, carburetor cleaner, let it soak. I did not do number 2 because the valves were open. So I bought this kit, I think it was $18. And it has these junky brushes, but they work very good. And I then took a coat hanger and I made some different hooks. So there's that. You got to make them long enough too. So this one I could put around the valve and then run it up and down. That one would scrape down close to the face of the intake valve. And then this one was just my pick. And obviously carburetor cleaner. This was not hard to do. I didn't, what else did I do? I didn't take much off on the bottom end. I did disconnect this hose from the intake, and it sits right there. And that, you just lift up, you just lift up on that thing right there and pull that out, and that gives you a little bit more freed up room. Now this thing is as far forward as I could get it, because now I'm on this AC line. So that's where it stayed, that's where it wanted to be, and it worked out really good. And so cleaned the valves, put the battery back on, disconnected it first, then I put the battery back on, turned the motor over, and the engine wanted to start, which wasn't a big deal because I had fuel here. So I never disconnected that line. So then that closed the valves on number 2, went through the same thing of cleaning, blew it out, covered it up, covered the holes up with rags, and just blew the crap out of it, and it worked really good. So I'm going back together with this. And this is a 1.4 on a 2018 Volkswagen Jetta.